What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here, and this is another mini Q&A. Guys, thank you for sending me questions for all this time. And just to let you guys know ahead of time, there is not going to be a Q&A next week. There's going to be a Q&A the week after next, probably around August, but like the beginning of August. But there is not going to be a Q&A for the last week of July. So just to let you know right there. So if you're expecting a Q&A and you send me questions, it's not going to be answered until August, at least the beginning of that week. So just to let you guys know. But let's get started with this Q&A. And they're all YouTube questions this time, so I'm going to get started. The first set of questions comes, well, the first question comes from Dustin Nunn. It's more like an explanation afterwards. Who is your favorite Tekken character? Honestly, I don't remember all the names except for a few. You said yours was actually Martial Law. Well, one of them was Martial Law. I have played with Martial Law, and it's pretty easy to play with him. I will say I like King and Anna. I prefer those guys. I haven't played Tekken in years. Not since my PlayStation 1 days. But when I did play, it actually was pretty fun. I think I did play it on the Dreamcast. I can't really remember. But Anna and King were the ones that I used the most. I like King because of his mask. I think King actually did have a tiger mask, or it's either a tiger or a panther mask. I can't remember, but I know it was a cat. But yeah, he was one of my characters that I like to play with a lot, as well as with Anna. They actually were pretty cool. But yeah, great set of questions, man. Well, great question. My next set of questions actually comes from Final Limits. Thoughts on Josh Matthews? I really haven't seen much of Josh Matthews in a while. I really don't know what's going. I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether or not he's still there or not. But they're like cutting people out right and left. Have you have you watched any of the videos that I sent you on your Facebook messages? Yes, I actually did watch one, and I think it's called Vixen Death English. I actually saw that, and after listening to it, that's probably one of the reasons why I'm not itching to play Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry. I like Final Fantasy, I do, but Final Fantasy's actual plot is a lot better to understand than Kingdom Hearts. I'm sorry, it is. And I know I watched a little snippet of it, but even I was confused. But which makes me not really want to watch the rest of the videos. But either or, I will say this. It had the graphics was great, the story, the voice actors was great. It's just the story kind of seemed confusing. That's what I got from it from that first glance. So yeah, I wasn't itching to watch the rest, but I did watch that one that you sent me, Vixen Death English. And yeah, I didn't particularly care for anything else. But yeah, it was pretty cool, and I appreciate you sending me those. It was kind of awesome. What did you think when Alberto Del Rio cashed in his Money in the Bank contract on CM Punk at SummerSlam in 2011? Everybody knows that whoever has the Money in the Bank briefcase is not going to be honorable about it, and the ones that are honorable are not going to win. That was a given when it came to John Cena when he had the Money in the Bank briefcase and he ended up losing his. Because, I mean, let's face it, the Money in the Bank briefcase is meant to be dishonorable. And the way that Alberto Del Rio did it was a sheer way of what a heel would do. I mean, it's a sheer heel move, and it was a pretty good one. I will say that. I liked CM Punk around that time. I did, but it was a great heel move. I'm sorry, it was, and I think it was a good way of it was the best way to do it. I'll just say that. You know, I have no beef with him doing that, but it did kind of keep it interesting. I mean, in my opinion, it did. Thoughts on Donald Trump and what he said about Mexicans. Look, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. If Donald Trump could marry himself, he would. Like, seriously. And I'm just saying this to try to be the nicest way possible. I'm not a big fan of Donald Trump, but I will say that even though I don't necessarily agree, even if that is his opinion, if that's how he personally feels about it, that's how he personally feels about it. You can't change that. But for crying out loud, if you're trying to be the president, you got to be a little bit more, I guess, I don't want to say politically correct, but for crying out loud, just practice some kind of, I don't know, something. I mean, have a little bit of respect for those that actually live in this country that are from different countries, because this is a country of immigrants. So at least have a little bit of respect about that. Come on. Really? Just come on. But that's just Donald Trump for you. He's just trying to get people to notice him. But moving on from there to Jack the Talking Dildo. I don't like Maria. You know my thoughts on Maria Menounos. You know them. I'm not going to explain it. You know I can't stand her. I'm not a big fan. But I'm just not a big fan. Okay? I still am not. And I've already explained it many times. I'm not going to explain it again. Thoughts on MVP. I kind of miss MVP. MVP never did good as a face. He was never good as a face. He was always great as a heel. And when he became a really great heel in TNA, I appreciate it a lot more. But my question is, why the heck would he leave Japan and come back over here? If the guy was as popular as he was over there, why the heck would he come back here? It's not like he did any better. I mean, seriously, he went straight to TNA and then he ended up becoming, what, a mouthpiece. He really didn't do much of anything. He came by and then he was like, what, the general manager for a little while? But either or, he didn't really do anything to make an impact on the show. But when he left that whole GM kind of role and actually stood by Bobby Lashley as one of his mouthpieces, I'm going to say this. He looked good. He made himself as well as Bobby Lashley look good. He was like the black version of Paul Heyman while Bobby Lashley was the black version of Brock Lesnar. That's the only way I can actually explain it for TNA. He was like that kind. He was the black version of Brock Lesnar, which was Bobby Lashley, and then you had MVP pretty much being the black version of Paul Heyman. So it was just kind of like a switch around. But either or, it worked for him. It worked for him being a mouthpiece. He was kind of more expressive. He was more aggressive. I liked it. I really did. I can't see TNA anymore because I don't have Destination America. But if I did and he was still there, I would love every bit of it. I really would. He's great as a heel, not as a face. But great question, man. Moving on to the last set of questions that I have from Shoro Roro Hayoyor. If I said it wrong, my bad. Thoughts on Cena burying Owens and making him tap out like a loser. Okay. I'm going to say this. Kevin Owens and John Cena will always put on some great matches, some excellent matches, some grade A plus style matches. I didn't necessarily like the finish for Battleground. I'm not gonna lie. I actually did do a review on it, and I have my actual thoughts on it. I'm gonna probably upload it soon. But no, I don't think that Owens was buried. Here's the definition of a burial. The definition of a burial was Cena versus Lesnar. I'm sorry. Cena versus Lesnar at SummerSlam. That was a burial for Cena. It was. It was. No offense, no defense. It was probably about 15 minutes of squashing. That's pretty much what it was. That guy had zero offense and zero defense. That was the worst match of his career. So, but in the terms of squashing, it's kind of, in that case, I mean, I will put that as a definition of squashing, but the only thing is that squashing is only for an individual to look better than the other one. And I guess a best way of doing it is about Ryback. When Ryback had all these local people fighting him at first before he moved to the mid-card, just when he was starting back out, and before he did the Feed Me More gimmick, he was literally squashing those guys because those matches were 2 minutes or less. And the whole reason for that match was to make Ryback look good, to make him look like a beast. Hence why he's squashing the little guy, knowing that this guy didn't have a shot in the dark of beating him. And this match literally was less than 2 minutes. It actually was probably about 2 minutes. It felt that way. That he got a 1, 2, 3 instantly. Now that's a squash match. Or that's a burial. That was burying that local talent. Just to make Ryback look good and strong. So I guess maybe I could say that Lesnar versus Cena was more of a burial in Cena's case. Because he had zero offensive defense on a higher level. When you're talking about on a more upper level, that match I would say is a burial. And then also with Ryback, every match he was in with the local talent was on a lower level, was definitely a burial. I can't say mid-card for him because he was just starting out. He was starting from the ground up. So at that point, it was a lower level, fighting local people, squashing local people, making them look good. That's pretty much what a burial is, guys. And if you got a better definition of it, leave it in the comments. I want to hear y'all's definition about that. But anyway, moving on from there. Oh boy, more Cena stuff. Why can't what happened to Tyson Kidd happen to Cena? Dude, no. Look, I wish no ill will on anybody, and I suggest that people don't either. Look, John Cena is a character. He's a character. If you don't like his character, I understand. You don't want to wish the man harm. He did nothing to anybody. Sure, everybody hates his character. They hate the same old superhero gimmick that we see night after night after night. But you shouldn't wish the guy harm. Seriously, you shouldn't wish the guy harm. It's going a little bit too far. But either or, y'all, look, Cena is Cena. I don't think that Cena has been burying anybody. I already have my opinions about Battleground, and I'm going to upload that soon. I can't even talk today. But I'm going to upload that. And yeah, it does talk a little bit about Cena and some things that bothered me about that match. But despite all that, guys, this is my Q&A. I appreciate y'all sending me all your questions. And by all means, and it's about the storm, so I better get on out of here. But if you have other questions that you want to send me, by all means, send them to me via YouTube, or on Twitter at RKH30 hashtag Nation Girl Q&A. Yeah, this thunder kind of rattled me off. But like I said, next week will be no Q&A. The week after, around August, the beginning of August, is when the next Q&A is going to be. So stay tuned to that. Still send me questions, but there will be no Q&A next week. Not towards the end of July. Only at the beginning of August. But still continue to send me questions. It's just you're not gonna hear it until later on. So just to let y'all know. But anyway, that's your girl 30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.